We have clocked close to 1500 kilometers with this Tata Curvv petrol manual in a span of just 1 week. So in this video, I'll be telling you in detail everything that we liked and disliked about it. So stick till the end. And before we go ahead, you're watching Car and Bike. I'm Bilal, and if you haven't yet subscribed to the Car and Bike YouTube channel, you should do it definitely right now and hit that bell icon as well so that you can be notified every time we bring out a new informative video such as this one. Now we begin with what we like, and it has to be this unique coupe SUV body style that the Curvv brings with it in this very highly competitive CSUV segment. Now I personally have a bit of an opinion about this Curvv design because Tata had a little bit of a mishit. They should have introduced the Curvv lineup when they introduced the Curvv concept a couple of years back. But what they did instead is use that fabulous design language in all the other cars, including the Nexon EV facelift, the Nexon EV ICE. Then they brought it with the Tata Harrier and the Safari facelift, along with even the smaller Punch EV. Now, when this Curvv came out a couple of years later, this very special looking design, it became a little less special. But the speciality of the Curvv has to be this rear three-quarter. With a coupe SUV body style, it brings a very fresh flavor in the segment and it looks gorgeous. It doesn't look like an afterthought, and more importantly, the Curvv's haunches make it look bulky and grand. Now, I also saw one on the road with a petite sedan-like spoiler, and it looked so good with the styling of the Curvv. So if you are getting one, get yourself that small spoiler to enhance the styling, in my opinion. In the time that it has been with us, I have taken it to fuel pumps, more on the fuel stops later. But when I pulled up to the fuel pump, a couple of fuel attendants, they dropped their fuel pipe and they came up to admire this rear end. Now this rear end, for them, in their own word, it looks large, bulky and quite attractive. It looks larger than what it is, and that's exactly what SUV buyers want from their SUVs, right? But what's your opinion about the styling of this Curvv? Do you like this coupe SUV body style, or do you prefer very conventional boxy type for your SUVs? Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. And now we come to the cabin, and there are a few misses here on the inside which really grinds my gear. First up, this center console. There's no bottle holder or cup holder, so that gets really ridiculous. Secondly, this center console, it has this USB panel which is tucked away somewhere on the inside. So when you have to put in your USB, your hand won't go in and your USB will be dangling all around the place. Now this center console, it is already squeaking, as you can hear it. More importantly, this entire cabin, it doesn't feel as spacious as it should looking at the exterior, because this is a bigger car. Maybe it is this all dark theme that you see here. The lower trims gets a lighter theme. Maybe it might feel spacious, but right now this cabin, it doesn't feel as spacious as it should. This digital control panel, again, it's not one of my favorite because you never know which button you're pressing and it gets difficult to operate, especially on the move. And more importantly, we come to these seats. Now, these seats are taken directly from the Nexon, and I had the same complaint in the Nexon as well, that this backrest height, it should have been taller, because when you're sitting here on the driver's seat, you don't have proper support for your shoulder blades. So on a long journey, you would find yourself adjusting quite a lot, and it will tire you out. Continuing on my complaints, this steering, it's slightly offset both for the driver and on the axis. So it will definitely grind the gears of people who have those serious OCDs. Next complaint is that this gear lever is a tad too tall. I think it should have been perfect if it ended over here, and that would have improved the ergonomics. Coming to the ergonomics, it's exactly not perfect. Now, adding to that negative ergonomics is this seating position, which I'm sitting at my lowest possible seating position, and still it's quite tall or quite up high. And then there's negative of that rear visibility with this coupe SUV body styling. Now, it is a coupe SUV and it is understandable. So, but for newer drivers, that might be a bit of a hindrance, especially in the city confines. It's for an experienced driver, the rear visibility, it's not too bad, but it's not great either. Now, front row aside, getting inside may be a bit of a problem if you are a senior citizen with knee problem. Now, I know both my parents are and they both complain the same. Now, once inside, you have this seats which are well bolstered, they offer good support, but the seating position is a bit awkward, especially there's no leg room because you can see this seat, it's almost the same as a driving posture and it's not all the way back actually, and still there's not enough leg room for me. Headroom, it's fine, especially because of this scooped out roof line, but otherwise the space at the back, it could be better because this is a bigger SUV, especially compared to the Nexon. And the saving grace for the Curvv has to be its 500 liters of boot space, which is biggest in the segment. It's more than anything that you get in this price point, be it the Elevate, the Creta, the Seltos, or the smaller boot space that you get in the Grand Vitara and the High Rider. But all of this has been my opinion with this cabin that I spent 1500 kilometers with. Have you experienced the Curvv cabin? And it's not that bad, it's still modern looking. The quality of material is much decent that you would expect at this price point, especially compared to its segment, and it looks quite modern with a lot of features on offer. More on the features later, but what's your opinion about the cabin of the Tata Curvv? Let us know in the comment section below. And now we come to the powertrain, and we know that the Curvv is also available with an all-EV derivative. But apart from that, this ICE version, it comes with both petrol and diesel engine option. Diesel, which is quite rare in the segment now. But more importantly, you get two petrol engine options. The first one is a 1.2-liter Revertron from the Nexon, which is quite well established in the segment right now. The other one is this new engine that we have here. This one is called the Hyperion and it debuts with this car. It is also a 1.2-liter 3-cylinder engine which produces more horsepower, around 123 bhp and 225 Newton meter. Now I'm sure you must be wondering that this big of a car is powered by a small 3-cylinder 1.2-liter petrol engine. Well, yeah, there's a yes and there's a no to it. But there's more to this engine than meets the eye. Yeah, the Hyperion engine, it has got 300 PS of boost pressure on those injectors. Yeah, this is a properly modern engine. And with direct injection, you might have an assumption that this engine is made for a sportier drive. But that's not the case because we have grown up to a fact that a direct injection engine might be sportier. But this one, it's made more in line to be future compliant because in future we might be having more direct injection engines than we have right now. So Tata has made it more in line with the future compliance rather than making it sportier. So unlike the 1 liter and 1.5 liter from Hyundai and Kia, this one, it is more subdued in its performance. Sure, the first thing that you notice when you get behind the wheel is just how refined this engine is. It's so smooth and refined, it has no vibration whatsoever, especially nothing that you would usually associate from a 3-cylinder engine. It's so smooth even on standstill, it's smooth even more so when you're on the move. But more importantly, it has got a very strong meaty mid-range. Oh yes, the meaty mid-range about 2000 RPM to 3500 to 4000 RPM. That mid-range is so good, and the acceleration on this meaty mid-range is not just smooth, but it is a proper gentle tug rather than a forced acceleration. It's linear to a great extent, but the way the engine accelerates in the mid-range, in fact, I sometimes put it in third gear and fourth gear and just forget about it because in this third and fourth gear, it can do between 30 kmph to 130 kmph without a problem. It might not be a free revving or a very high revving engine though, but it races towards the red line on the rev counter with its own gentle pace. On the downside, this engine, it lacks a good low-end grunt, especially in the initial gears. Because, for example, say you're approaching a speed breaker. Just to give you a better example, you're approaching a speed breaker and you think that, yeah, you have second gear, you are in good momentum, and you can take the speed breaker in the second gear. But no, that's not the case. You would have to rather shift to the first gear because this engine, it won't take the torque or it doesn't have that much grunt to carry through, and it would just die on you. It would stall for no good reason. It wouldn't just stutter and then die on you, but it would just breathe last breath and die on you. It's not a very pleasant experience, especially when you're in the traffic and when it stalls after the speed breaker. There are traffic at the back blaring horns on you, and then you'll have to embarrassingly stop the vehicle, put it in neutral, start the engine, and then start to get going. But then you realize, no, there is a electronic parking brake over here, so you'll do that weird squat with the car going up, and then you realize, no, there's a handbrake pulled in, then you put on your brake lever, then put down the handbrake, and then you get going. A pretty embarrassing experience. It has happened to me more than one occasion, and I trust me when I tell you that it's not a very pleasant thing. But I found a way around this. So when you find yourself a gear too high and the engine dies on you, and you are still in momentum, what you have to do is put down the lower gear, say second or first gear, while carrying that momentum, and just dump the clutch. The engine restarts on its own, and then you can get going without all the embarrassment that I talked about. Not recommended, but it is a necessary evil. Or you can go for the DCA automatic for this purpose. It might definitely fare better because the DCT, the dual clutch transmission in the DCA form, it is rather smooth and easy. Not as refined or as precise as the DSG, for example, but it's good enough. But there's another downside to it, because you see, this is a manual gearbox, and no matter how efficiently you try to drive it, the fuel efficiency, it isn't that great. Now, across the 1500 kilometers that we have driven it, we only got a calculated mileage. Now, this is not a tank-to-tank method that we usually follow. This is how we fueled up at a regular fuel pump as much as we can while stopping for fuel and then calculating the kilometers. And over the 1500 kilometers that we have driven this one returned an actual mileage of just around 10 kmpl. Yeah, that's not really very impressive when you consider the fact that 80% of that 1500 kilometers were highway running. A couple of times on the expressway and then the NH66. Most of it was on the highway, and when you take it down to the city confines, the fuel mileage will definitely go down into single digits. That's considering no matter how efficiently you try to drive this manual gearbox. The DCA would be even less so. Now, after that dislike, let me tell you one really good thing that I really like about this Curvv. That has to be its ride quality. Now, at the end of the day, it is a Tata, so the ride quality has to be quite sorted, right? And this one is the best one out there, in my opinion, because over the course of the kilometers that I've driven it, I also took it on NH66. Not exactly NH66, the interior part of NH66. Now, those who knows that the NH66 is still under construction. Everywhere you go, there's not a single section where there's paved roads. There's either gravel and there's red sand. Imagine the condition of the interior roads from the NH66. And on those roads, the Curvv truly came alive. On the sections where the road were under construction, there were just red sand or gravel, and the roads were not just straight, they were winding across the Sayadri hills. And on those roads, the Curvv, it felt like driving a proper WRC car on a WRC dirt circuit. It was so good. It was sliding around, taking in the imperfections so nicely, carrying higher speed than you would usually do in a normal SUV. This Curvv was too much fun. The steering, it may not be very communicative, and it isn't light either. It has a dead center as well for few degrees. But get going and it gets better. And like the gearbox, it takes some time to get used to. Now, the biggest reason why you should go and get yourself the Curvv has to be its extensive feature list. Now, Tata has realized that when you enter a very lucrative, toughly fought segment, you have to offer more. And the Curvv, it does that with its long feature list. Now, there are 5 different variants to choose from, and we haven't done yet, but do you want a very detailed variant-wise feature distribution video which tells you which variant is the best buy and at what price? Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. Now, what we have here is a range-topping version with ADAS. Now, all the ADAS suite, it works brilliantly over here, sometimes too brilliantly, because when in the traffic, it will unnecessarily brake a couple of times for no reason, despite you being on the brake and not on accelerator. Now, on the flip side, with so many technologies on offer, there are bound to be some glitches, and Tata are known for their glitches. Now, over the time that the car was with us, we found some too. For example, the Android Auto, it unnecessarily disconnects for no obvious reason. The wireless charging pad, it has never fully charged my phone ever because it again disconnects for no good reason. And the all digital driver's display, it went off and went blank for a couple of times. This one time it was while coming down on the Lonavala Ghat. A bit of a scary experience if you ask me. And lastly, the rear light indicator, it worked sometime and it didn't work the other times. No, not the on-off working, but it went off completely a few times. So that's the Tata Curvv petrol manual for you and all its likes and dislikes that we found out over the course of 1500 kilometers. Now, I hope you liked this video and you found it useful, especially if you are undecided whether or not should you get yourself the Tata Curvv. And if it was useful, do let us know in the comment section below. And if you have any other questions regarding the Curvv, be it the petrol, the manual, the automatic, the diesel, or even the EV, or if you want a comparo between the Curvv with any of the C SUVs out there, let us know in the comment section below and we'll be happily obliged. And if you have liked this video, do hit that like button as well and share this video with those who are a fence sitter and they are wondering whether or not they should go for the Tata Curvv or if they are looking to buy a C SUV and the Curvv is in their short list. But that's all from me in this video. This is Bilal signing off. Until next time.